Hello, everyone. My name is Marcia Merrins, and I'm a member of the League of Women Voters of Chautauqua County. And we're so glad to have you here tonight for our Meet the Candidates night. The League's goal is simple. We want everyone to vote, to trust that their votes will count, and be informed when they head to the polls. We hold these candidates' events as a service to both the voters and the candidates. For voters, it's to give them a chance to hear directly from the people that are running for office, to form your own firsthand impressions. And for candidates, it's an opportunity to share their views with an audience of all political backgrounds. The candidates have not seen these questions in advance, except the first one. So you will be hearing their real, unscripted responses, and it's a great way to see how they think on their feet. We welcome candidates this evening for Chautauqua County Clerk. I don't know about you, but I needed a clearer picture of what is involved in the county clerk's office, so I went to their website, and I'll share that with you just in case you're a little rusty. The county clerk is responsible for maintaining records of governing body transactions, such as resolutions and ordinances. The county clerk maintains and provides records including birth, marriage, civil union, and death certificates. The county clerk is responsible for recording all land documents and serves as a clerk for the Supreme and County Courts and oversees the Department of Weights and Measures and county historian and heads 3 Department of Motor Vehicles bureaus in our county. That is a big job. The League of Women Voters is a trusted, nonpartisan organization. We work year-round to encourage civil participation through voter registration drives, our Take Me to Vote programs in schools, and efforts to make registering and voting easier for everyone. So as you listen tonight, think about which issues matter most to you. What do you want to learn from each candidate? Notice how they answer. Are they specific? Are they sincere and knowledgeable? And are the questions fair and relevant to your concerns? And after the forum, talk about it. Talk about what you heard to your family, your friends. Did you learn anything new? And most importantly, remember to vote. It's the best way to make your voice heard and shape the issues that affect all of us. With us this evening are the candidates for County Clerk, Mr. Gregory Krauza and Mr. Gregory Carlson. I'll try not to say Greg too often, or maybe more than often. Candidates will have 2 minutes to respond to a question they received prior to this meeting and include a brief presentation discussing their qualifications. After the opening statements, candidates will reply to questions from the audience or questions that were submitted beforehand, and each reply will be limited to 1 minute. Even if a question is addressed to a specific candidate, the other candidate will be welcome to add comments or replies of their own for 30 seconds. They will be able to rebut or challenge one another, limited to that 30 seconds, and they only get 1 rebuttal each. And there will be 1 minute for closing statements. So here is the question that they were given ahead of time. What is the most urgent problem facing the position you are seeking today, and what is the first thing you would do to solve it if elected? We will begin with Mr. Krauza.
Thank you. Thank you to the League of Women Voters and the Jackson Center for hosting today to give the voters an opportunity to find the most qualified candidate. My qualifications include owning and managing successful private sector businesses that require me and my team to meet the needs of the consumer. Couple that with my tenure as mayor and councilman in the city of Dunkirk, and I am confident my experience will allow me to be an effective public servant. I've proven my commitment to the community with the many volunteer activities I have taken on. I'm chairman of the Fredonia Farm Festival. For 20 years, I chaired the Jamestown Gus Macker for the Research Center. I currently am board president of Filling the Gap, which manages the affiliate businesses of the Research Center. I've served as president and treasurer of the Fredonia Community Chamber. I could continue to list activity, but it's known that if there's a task that needs to get done, you can count on me to give my full effort and get it done. The most pressing issue facing the clerk's office is the loss of revenue when residents renew their licenses, registrations, etc. online to New York State. We must build awareness that county revenue is lost every time you go direct to the state. Through increased technology, including a county website and flexible hours that meet the public need, we can ensure Chautauqua gets every dollar it deserves. I plan to use the clerk's office to address what is truly the most pressing issue facing Chautauqua County. Tax rates throughout the county are unsustainable for our residents and inhibit growth. Our current system of delivery is inefficient, and tax rates are some of the highest in the country. As clerk, I will work with communities to analyze and support every opportunity to combine, share, or restructure how they do businesses. I will treat obstacles as challenges to be addressed and overcome. I look forward to this debate and the opportunity to lay out my vision for Chautauqua County as county clerk. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Mr. Carlson.
Good evening. My name is Greg Carlson. I live in Lakewood with my wife Tricia and our blended family of 5 teenagers, and I'm running for Chautauqua County Clerk. After graduating from Southwestern in 1995, I joined the Air Force, retiring after 20 years of service. While on active duty, I completed my formal education, earning a master's degree in aerospace administration and logistics. In 2016, I was appointed Director of Veteran Services for Chautauqua County. During my tenure, the county lost 19% in veteran population. Despite this decline, I've overseen a 24% increase in direct VA payments to beneficiaries in Chautauqua County. The economic impact has been substantial. In 2023, Chautauqua County beneficiaries received $60,160,000 in direct payments from the VA. This is nearly $17 million ahead of the next closest county in New York State with a similar veteran population. This success is a result of setting the right priorities and the exceptional execution of my staff. If elected, I will bring the same data-driven, result-oriented strategies to the clerk's office. The county clerk's office is historically self-sustaining, even returning revenue to the county coffers each year. Unfortunately, a shrinking tax base and rising costs have cut the margins. This negatively impacts our county taxpayers and our ability to provide services, and will be the biggest immediate challenge. This will be addressed in multiple ways, but some specific examples include digitizing county records and upgrading our records management software. Though initial investment required, these upgrades will pay for themselves with notable reductions in recurring year-to-year costs and improve access for our subscribers. Additionally, we will improve training, adjust hours of operation, and reallocate staffing in our 3 DMV locations with the goal of increased accessibility for customers and revenue for the county. These DMV priorities are in line with customer feedback and responsive to recent implementations of the Real ID Act. I look forward to your questions and appreciate this opportunity to engage with the voters. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We will now open our meeting to a question and answer format. We hope their presentations have brought some questions. The questions will be screened to avoid duplication and anything inappropriate. The order of answering the questions will alternate, and each candidate will have 1 minute to respond to the question. And for those in the audience, if you wish to ask a question, please raise your hand, and someone will give you a card, and you can write your question on the card. If it's not legible, I will not read it. Rebuttals, again, will be limited to 30 seconds, and please silence your phones if you haven't done that yet. So our next question, fresh from the audience. Do you support voter registration through DMV, and what steps would you take as county clerk to ensure that process is secure and accessible? We will begin with Mr. Carlson.
I 100% support voter registration. As far as through the DMV, it would depend upon the situation and what they're there for, but if we have the means to provide someone with the ability to register to vote, I would support that.
Thank you. Do you wish to respond, Mr. Carl?
Sure. Any chance to register voters, we want every single vote to count. We want every single person that's eligible to vote to be able to. Any method of voter that we can make it available to the residents of the county, I support.
Great, thank you. Second question. You have chosen to be involved in our government. Why is it important for people to become engaged in government? We'll begin with Mr. Krauza.
Thank you. It's not just government, it's every aspect of our society. People need to be engaged. We've lost that value, that core value over the last 2 or 3 generations. Once again, I'm that guy who believes that it is very important to give back to your community. Again, I listed a bunch of volunteerism and didn't even get as far as I could have. That's important. Being involved in government, we need to encourage that. Thank you. We need to encourage that and make sure that everybody knows that I think we need to make it a little safer to engage in government from a public response standpoint, but more important, get involved in your community, whether it's volunteering at the local shelter or running for office. Any way you can get involved is important.
Thank you. Mr. Carlson?
Oh, yes, I think it's extremely important not just to be involved, but to be informed. One of the reasons I put my hat in the ring to run for county clerk is to take part in local governance, because I think that's where you have the best opportunity to make an impact on your neighbors and in your community. So many times when you see the federal elections, they're abstract. They're things that don't necessarily apply to your neighbor or to your friend. All of us that live here in Chautauqua County, we face the same weather, we face the same cultural issues, the same educational issues, and I think it's very, very important to participate in that process. Another piece of that is being informed, making sure that if we say something, that is actually true and correct, and that we have researched it. One of the common conversations I have with my kids when they say something is I'll ask them to define what they just said. And so frequently they can't. They'll use a word and they can't say back to me what it means. So I'll say, go look that up, and then we can have a conversation about it. So I think it's important to be involved and informed.
Thank you very much. Our next question. Local governments face challenges with outdated processes and technology. What specific technological improvements or modernization efforts would you prioritize to better serve the public? We'll begin with Mr. Carlson.
So in my introduction, I specifically mentioned upgrading our record system software. There's currently something on the market from Tyler Technologies, and this is already used by our Department of Public Safety, our Department of Finance, and Human Resources. There is an initial capital investment that would be involved, but if we were to procure this, it would be able to pay for itself in 3 to 4 years, and then there would be long-term savings due to efficiency improvements, cuts in the annual year-to-year costs that are associated with it, and also it integrates better with other county departments.
Thank you. Mr. Krauza.
Again, I also addressed one of the things I plan to do as county clerk is to work with every resident or every municipality to do whatever it takes to improve, whether that's through shared services, whether that's a restructure. But right now, the tax rates and the way things are going are unsustainable. So the number one technological advance I would like to see is more awareness. I know in the village, in the city of Dunkirk, they film all the meetings and put them on YouTube so people can see that. We need ultra transparency in order to give everyone the ability to feel like they're participating and make it easy. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next question. The clerk's office is the custodian of the county's public records. How do you plan to balance the public's right to access information with the need to protect confidential or sensitive data? We'll begin with Mr. Krauza.
Thank you. As both a mortgage broker, I've owned a mortgage company, and I currently have a employee benefits. I have licenses with New York State that require confidentiality and that require me to know that balance. What can we say, what can we not share that's important, and what do we have to make sure that we keep confidential? I think we have systems in place right now. I think freedom of information should be is important to follow, but needs to be there so that folks can access it. There shouldn't be delays or time, whatever it takes. We need to make sure that we get it to that we give every resident the opportunity to know what they want to know.
Thank you. Mr. Carlson.
Well, fortunately, as it pertains to the clerk's office, there's about 200 years of institutional knowledge. So there is already guidelines which determine the information that is releasable to the public and the information that is not releasable to the public. And even some of the information that is not releasable to the public, if there is a need to know, you can fill out a request and get that information. So a lot of that stuff is already written out for us, and it's out of our hands. That's decided at state and higher levels. But certainly if somebody wanted information, we would find the process for them to get it if they were able to get it.
Thank you very much. Our next question. The county website is a vital tool for public access to documents. Do you feel the current county website is effective for this purpose, and what improvements, if any, would you make? We'll begin with Mr. Carlson.
So as far as the county website itself, certainly you can update things, make it more user-friendly. It's just a general place to get information. A lot of the stuff, for example, the DMVs, a lot of the things at the DMVs, that's through the state website. We don't have the opportunity to do that locally. I had mentioned earlier a record software program from Tyler Technologies. That would be something that would be more easily used by our subscribers and a very valuable tool beyond just the county website as far as access to information about the clerk's office.
Mr. Krauza.
I do think the website needs a grand rehaul. I mean, it's the same website that's been there for quite a while. There is some information on it. But more importantly, I think with the DMV, I spoke about the loss of revenue every time that someone goes to New York State directly, because they send you a very nice email that says, please renew your registration right here. I don't think most of our residents even know that that means we're going to lose around 10% of that revenue when they use that. I would like to challenge the state to allow us to have our own website instead of just saying, well, that's the way it is. We're going to challenge the state to allow us to have our own website or our own ability to have people be able to renew licenses, register, and do all of those type of things that the DMV does online.
Thank you very much.
May I quickly? Am I
30
allowed to rebut
seconds,
that?
sure.
Okay. So I'm not sure if Mr. Krauza is aware of this or not, but the state DM, that's no longer applicable. So it used to be, once upon a time, that there was a difference whether you did it in-house at the county or you went on the state website. That's now universal. Doesn't matter if you do it in our office. It doesn't matter if you do it on the state website. We get the same amount of revenue. There used to be a difference. That is it's now a standard rate across the boards.
Thank you very much. Our next question, how would you, as county clerk, improve or manage voter registration at a DMV office in our county to ensure accuracy and accessibility? We will begin with Mr. Carlson.
So really, it's just a matter of following the law, whether that be local and state law or federal law. There's actually some changes that just came down May 7th, 2025, and that's from the Real ID Act of 2005 about what states need for registering to vote. And we would just make sure that we did things in accordance with the law and that people had the proper identification that they need to vote.
Thank you. Mr. Krauza.
Yeah, we kind of addressed that earlier, but yes, why not make it more efficient, right? If you're at DMV, you're already having to show whatever evidence you have of, this is my car, this is my person, this is what I do. Let's allow you to register to vote. Let's use that information to do that.
Thank you very much. Next question. How would you handle budgetary constraints while assuring the office can meet its responsibilities and invest in necessary upgrades? Mr. Krauza.
For the last 30 years, I've been running private businesses that have budgets the size of the clerk's office, the amount of employees of the clerk's office, the multiple locations of the clerk's office, and we've been able to take a hard look at that, and when it's time to tighten, we tighten. When it's time to increase revenue, we increase revenue. But again, that's the experience I talk about, that in the real world, I've done that. It's not just let's raise taxes, which seems to be the simple and common mantra, of folks that have not been in the private sector and taking those challenges. Same thing with managing employees. It's all about making sure that they're inclusive, that they're a part of it, so that they understand what changes and what effect their work has on that budget.
Mr. Carlson.
Yep, so I spent 20 years in the military, and then the last 9 years as the Director of Veteran Services for Chautauqua County. And the difference between government and a private business, even though you want to have efficiencies, you certainly want to have good business practices in government to try to increase revenue as much as possible. Unlike a private business where you can run it however you want, and you can pick the customer base you want. In government, you serve everybody. You have limitations. You have mandated services that you're going to provide. So when I was the Director of Veteran Services, like I said, we lost 19% in population, but we gained 24% in direct payments from the VA. And that's because I prioritize the meat and potatoes. So if I'm elected as the county clerk, I'm going to work through the minutia, and I'm going to figure out, hey, what gives us the best return on the dollar? What's going to give the taxpayer the best return on their tax dollar investment, and focus on those things.
Thank you very much. Our next question. What is your philosophy on the use of modern technology, such as artificial intelligence, within the clerk's office? Mr. Carlson.
So again, that's an it depends answer, because artificial intelligence technologies can be very expensive, but I would certainly research every option available. I myself like to use artificial intelligence when I'm looking up information. That's something we would investigate, but modernization is the way to go. And you can even look at what's been done the past 10 to 15 years in the clerk's office. They have modernized a ton. They've used ARPA funds to digitize lots of records. They've eliminated thousands and thousands and thousands of pages of documents, and they can do things with the push of a button. So I 100% would embrace any sort of technological innovation that we can afford, because we have to give the taxpayer return on the investment to make our processes more efficient and easier.
Mr. Krauza.
Obviously, technology, AI has incredible powers that we can use. Some of the concerns are that AI isn't always accurate, so we need to be concerned. Frankly, while I have embraced technology and use it every day, some of the AI factors scare the heck out of me. So we have to make sure that we use all technological advances we can, and at the same time make sure that we don't, first of all, lose the human factor, lose touch with folks, and second, make sure that information that's coming to us is accurate.
Great, thank you. Next question. How will you measure the performance and success of the clerk's office during your term? What metrics will you use? We'll begin with Mr. Krauza.
I think you use some of the same metrics we use in the private sector, which is, first of all, the bottom line. That's number one. You're going to measure, are we bringing in the revenue? Are we, and what are our expenses? So we've got to make sure that we keep that balance in place. Also, we're going to use evaluation techniques. I'm a big fan of embracing the employees into the evaluation process. Allow them to self-evaluate, allow them to look at the systems and processes that we have. They've been there for years and years and years, and they've been using these processes. I would dare say that they're going to be telling us, you know, what the processes are needed and what systems are needed, as much as we are going to source them out ourselves.
Mr. Carlson.
So when you look at every department, whether it be weights and measures, the clerk's office itself, or the DMV, there is a bottom line. You can see the revenue in versus the revenue out, and you can make some short-term determinations based on that. But you have to look at the bigger picture. So not only does it have to be good in the short term, it has to be good in the long term, because there are solutions out there that will look good on paper for a year or look bad on paper for a year, but in the long run will benefit the county. An example would be a capital investment in information technology that has an initial upfront cost, but 10 years from now has saved tens of thousands of dollars, if not millions of dollars. And when you're going before the county legislator, a lot of times it's getting them to understand that, because this year it doesn't look good, but 5 years from now, 7 years from now, 10 years from now, you're going to thank us for making this change.
Thank you very much. How would you handle a situation involving a stressed or difficult member of the public who is frustrated with a procedural issue or a complex process? We'll begin with Mr. Carlson.
Well, I had the opportunity to meet with the DMV administrator, and one of the concerns that she did bring up was agitated customers and how the DMVs are set up. So there definitely needs to be a look at security measures. I would say, as the county clerk, I'm in the best position to handle that. And at the lower levels, the best thing that they can do is be professional, diffuse the situation, have access to law enforcement or security numbers if needed. And if you get somebody who can't be satisfied, I always say the buck stops with me. Refer them to me directly. I've dealt with many, many angry veterans in my 9 years as the Director of Veteran Services, and I kind of specialize in agitated customers. But generally speaking, safety first, know your outlets, refer them to me.
Mr. Krauza?
Well, in my world, we try not to get our customers agitated, and we try not to have them. But so, you know, training for de-escalation, you know, once again, the staff should get all the support it needs, including training on how to de-escalate. I think that I have witnessed some of the issues. It could be a language barrier. I think we need to do we need to make an effort to have bilingual individuals at every office so that they can make sure that sometimes what shouldn't be escalated does. I agree, the buck does stop here. We're going to do everything we can to put systems in place and train our staff so that we don't have angry or stressed folks.
Sounds good to me. I would like that. What is your approach? Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Carlson.
Yes.
Did you you
you
responded to
went
that
first.
already.
No, yep.
What is your approach to dealing with public criticism or media scrutiny related to the functions of your office? We'll begin with Mr. Krauza.
Any public criticism is a learning process, right? Everyone's opinion matters. Once they have, you know, we need to take those, you know, at heart. You got to have thick skin. Again, you know, in private and public service that I've had already, there's always someone who has a differing opinion. But instead of just writing that off as they don't know what they're talking about or they're wrong, we need to take that, accept it, use it, channel it, and turn it into something positive. Many times that the person who is criticizing even can be dealt with if you treat them with courtesy and respect. And like I said, use that. Everybody's opinion matters. We'll use it to solve the problem.
Thank you very much. Mr. Carlson?
So one of the differences between being a department head, and that's what I'm doing right now, and being an elected official, is that you do answer to the public. And as an elected official, I work for the voter. So if the voter has a concern, a complaint, or criticism, I actually have an open door policy. If you really have a concern and you want to be educated, call me. Make an appointment with me. Come see me. We'll sit down and talk about it. Hopefully, I can educate or inform or get that person to understand why I'm making a decision that I'm making. Maybe if they have the entire picture, the criticism will change. If nothing else, we can agree to disagree. And I say that's the difference between holding an elected position and just being a supervisor, being in charge, is that you do answer to the public and you do have to take the criticisms seriously and have at least some responsibility to try to answer their question.
Thank you very much. Next question. I'm not getting many from the audience here. It's getting tough up here, squeezing them out. How do you handle conflicting directions or pressure from different county officials or departments? We'll begin with Mr. Carlson.
100% communication. You have to communicate with everyone involved. One-on-one is best at first, because in that situation, you can get understanding from them. But if you have to bring all parties in, I think a lot of times that I've seen in county government, you always have someone who's in between rather than the two parties just talk to each other. So at the end of the day, as the county clerk, you're not necessarily working for someone else within the county. So you have your office's interests in mind, and if those conflict with others, you communicate. And again, like I said before, you can either agree to disagree or you can cooperate.
Mr. Krauza.
First and foremost, you're going to do what's best for the public, what's best for the resident of the county. If there is conflict, again, being able to work your way through it. I look back at the, like I said, it keeps going back to experience on me, and I don't want to sound like a broken record, but these are things that we've done over and over again in the private side. It can be internal, it could be external. You've got to be able to listen and then come up with a solution that is at least satisfactory to all parties.
Okay. Next question. Hang on one second. What do you see as the 3 top priorities for the county clerk's office over the next years? Focus on issues like efficiency, public access, and data security. We'll begin with Mr. Krauza.
First and foremost is making sure that the Department of Motor Vehicles becomes a positive experience for everyone that walks in the door. We've talked about several different things in regards to that, but we've got to make sure that people know that it's comfortable and safe to come in, that they'll get the help that they need. Once again, be treated as a consumer as opposed to just someone standing in line. From the clerk's office, I think we need to improve on the digitization. I know I've been into the clerk's office often to look at, what library and what page and where we're at, and much of that is now getting online, but there still needs to be more of that in order to create that efficiency. Again, staff training is always, ongoing staff training is always the key. And third, I guess is the last, is how do we find ways to create revenue so that, that we are not a drain and that we can be a net positive.
Thank you. Mr. Carlson.
So right now, the records management system that the county clerk's office is using is IQS. A couple years ago, it had issues with backup and disaster recovery. Lots of documents were lost, and lots of man-hours were spent recovering that. So one of my top priorities would be the upgraded software that I talked about before. I've talked to the director of IT for the county. It's a cloud-based system. They're very confident in the backups that they have there. And as I mentioned in my introduction, the DMVs, a couple of different things: improve the training, adjust the hours of operation, and reallocate the staffing. Just those 3 things alone don't cost the taxpayer anything, but can improve efficiency within the DMVs. And in a minute, it's hard to be specific, but I've talked about a few different strategies with the DMV administrator for doing just those things.
Thank you very much. What specifically motivated you to run for this office? What do you hope to accomplish in this role that differs from or improves upon the current operations? We'll begin with Mr. Carlson.
So I have a lifetime of service. I spent 20 years in the military, multiple combat deployments. For the last almost decade, I've been advocating for county veterans. So when the opportunity arose to run for local government, it was compelling to be able to serve my community, serve my neighbors, and have an actual immediate impact on their lives. One of the challenging things about the veteran side of things is that you're dealing with the VA, you don't have that direct immediate impact. As the county clerk, I feel I'd be in a situation to be a great leader to the people who work in the clerk's office and a great public servant to the voters and to the customers and to our county residents.
Thank you. Mr. Krauza?
Really came down to a commitment to my community. Obviously, I'm working in the private sector now, but made the decision because I saw the void. I know that we need to see things different in government all over. It's not just about the clerk's office. I expect to use that clerk's office to be able to assist every municipality in the county with some way to improve their systems, whether it's restructuring how they do business, whether it's sharing services. Tax rates are without question the highest, they're highest in the country. So our current system of service isn't working. We need to make sure that we can change that and lower those taxes, and I believe that the county clerk has a unique position. Besides just doing their job, will take on some extra and help those municipalities in order to make sure that they can be as efficient as possible.
Thank you. If your ethics or integrity were challenged, how would you respond? Mr. Krauza?
Simple. You follow the rule, right? What are you supposed to do? I think that first of all, again, I've had to live that life in the private sector, making sure that we do what's right. But it's simple. You follow the rules, do what's right, treat everybody with respect. Ethics is an easy question. I don't think we'd be here if we weren't, folks who followed that and believed that if there's a line to cross, don't cross it. Stay with the ethics.
Thank you. Mr. Carlson?
Full transparency, open book. So many times I see, I would call them politicians, different public servants, and rather than just answer the question straightforward with what they think or how they believe, they try to talk around it. I am an open book, full transparency. If you want to know why I made a decision, or if you think that there was something or some sort of ethic that was violated as an elected public official, I will show you everything. And that is how I think the best way, if you are an open book and you show everything you did to make a decision or why you went in a certain direction for the good of the public, that's all that you can do if your ethics are questioned, is full transparency.
Thank you very much. I have one more question before closing. Does anybody have any questions that you want to hand in to me? Did we address what your question is? No. We have two more questions before closing. Oh my gosh, it's a long one. To put on my glasses here. The DMV office is very difficult for a person with disabilities. People need to be able to sit down, waiting for their turn. How would you implement this? And we'll begin with Mr. Carlson.
So one of the things I talked about earlier in the DMV was security. Another thing to look at would be comfort and accessibility for people who have different needs. And one of my first priorities would be making sure that with the resources that I already have on hand, what things can I do to make the DMVs A, more accessible, and B, safer? And that would be a priority thing because that has to do with the health and welfare of the public, and it has to do with the safety of the public. So talking about taxpayers, absolutely, that's the number one thing that you have in mind. However, some things usurp, the cost is worth it in the end. So there are certain things where I will embrace capital projects to make those types of upgrades to the DMV facilities, seek grants, ARPA funds, anything at my disposal for public safety and for the health and welfare of the public.
Mr. Krauza.
Yeah, accessibility is obviously is not only important, it's the law. So we've got to make sure that that's there. But I also think we should look at locations. Where is is it accessible to the community? There are plenty of buildings that don't need to have improvements that are available, that are very reasonable, that we could use to make sure that the public has accessibility, that it's easy, that it's open, that they know where it is, and that handicapped folks can get in easily and have a comfortable place to do their business.
Thank you very much. What is your management style, and how would you improve employee morale? We'll begin with Mr. Krauza.
Well, my management style has always been inclusive. I am firmly entrenched in using my staff, making sure that they have all input. We will listen to what they have to say. They're the boots on the ground, making sure that they feel comfortable giving input, feel comfortable telling me that, no, that's not what they think. So I'll build that relationship so that they have that comfort. There's no retribution, et cetera. We want them to have ownership in what they're doing. And I think once they have that ownership, I know I've found in the private side is that if they're a part of the decision-making process, morale is automatically going to go up, and we're going to see successful implementation because it was their idea.
Great. Mr. Carlson.
When morale is high, production is high. People like to feel like they're a part of a team and that they are valued, and it doesn't matter if you are at the entry level of the organization or if you are at the top of the organization. And consistency is key. You want your employees to have consistent supervision, consistent leadership, consistent standards, because then they are confident in making decisions. If one day they make a decision and they get a different reaction than making the same decision on another day, that just leads to negativity. But I believe wholeheartedly in setting people up for success, giving them the tools for success, and then recognizing them when they're successful so that they have buy-in.
Thank you very much. The candidates have answered 20 questions. Do you have any more? Anything we didn't cover? If not, we will allow 1 minute for closing statements, and we'll begin with Mr. Carlson.
Whoops. Okay. Just start anytime?
Anytime.
Okay. Knowing I'd be engaging with the League of Women Voters, I thought it would be important to refresh on a significant piece of American history to better understand my audience. You've heard enough from me. So in closing, I thought it'd be fitting to share. On May 21st, 1919, a suffrage amendment passed the House of Representatives, 304 to 89. And shortly thereafter, on June 4th, passed the Senate, 56 to 25. It went to the states for ratification, achieving the required 36 to secure adoption, going to effect August 18th, 1920. The 19th Amendment was certified August 26, 1920, and reads, "The right of citizens of the United States to vote shall not be denied or abridged by the United States or any state on account of sex." This was only possible due to the bravery and sacrifice of the American women's suffrage movement that began decades before in the mid-19th century. Because of them, we are here 105 years later having this forum. I thank you for this opportunity and hope you consider voting for me to be your next Chautauqua County Clerk.
Thank you. Mr. Krauza.
The time for small changes and business as usual is over. Taxpayers are at their limit, and the only way to reverse the exodus of residents, families, and jobs is to make bold changes. I'm prepared to support or lead to make sure that happens. My private and public experience give me the tools and mindset to be a successful county clerk. I've shown my commitment to the community time and time again. I will create a solutions-based environment. That does not mean I have solutions to every issue, but I am committed to using all resources available, including the people of Chautauqua County, to find solutions and implement them. Please search Elect Greg Krauza Clerk on social media if you're looking for more information, or reach out to me at gregkrauzaforclerk@gmail.com. I'm confident I have the experience, knowledge, and attitude to improve service delivery and increase revenue for Chautauqua County. I humbly ask every resident of Chautauqua County for their vote, but most important, please vote. Thanks to the League of Women Voters, the Jackson Center, and to my opponent for the opportunity tonight.
Thank you very much. Voting is one of the simplest and most powerful ways that we can take part in our democracy. When we vote, we're not just picking candidates, we're showing that we believe in the process and that every voice matters. So I hope, and I think all of you will since you're here, but I hope all of you will take the next step and go vote, and let's show that democracy is alive and well here in Chautauqua County and across New York State. A big thank you to the candidates who joined us tonight. Many times candidates do not want to be put in this position. I want to thank Mary Croxton, who first time organizing Meet the Candidates Night, and it is a daunting task getting everybody on board. Jack Croxton, our timekeeper, and his assistant. All the volunteers who helped out, Carrie Wolfgang, Janet Forb, Kathleen Stanton, the Robert H. Jackson Center for hosting this event, and Ed in the corner there who is videotaping, and it will be on the League of Women Voters YouTube channel if you want to watch it again. When, Lisa? Do you know when? A day or two? Day or two. And one quick reminder, early voting is October 25th through November 2nd. Look on the Board of Elections website for locations. Election day is Tuesday, November 4th, with polls open from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. It's long enough for me. All right, thank you for being here. I appreciate you. Thank you. You guys, it should be a bye.